The moment I saw her park her SUV right across the train tracks like she owned the place, I knew this wasn't going to end well. The crossing lights were flashing, the barriers were coming down, and instead of moving, she just sat there calm, unbothered, blocking an active railway line like it was her personal driveway. And the crazy part, 5 minutes later, I was the one coming down those tracks. Yeah, I was driving the locomotive. If that sounds unreal, stick with me, because this situation turned into one of the most satisfying moments of my life. Before I get into it, if you enjoy stories like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Karen's Stories Daily. It really helps the channel grow, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. So here's the background. I work for a regional rail company, not some huge operation, but big enough that we run daily freight and maintenance routes through a few suburban areas. I've been doing this job for years, and one thing I've learned is simple railroad rules exist for a reason. You don't mess around with train crossings, because trains don't stop quickly. They don't swerve, and they definitely don't wait for people who think they're more important than everyone else. Now, one of our routes runs right alongside a newer Hoa neighborhood. Clean houses, perfect lawns, and of course, a lot of complaints. Over the years, we've gotten reports from residents saying the trains are too loud, the horns are unnecessary, and the tracks are inconvenient. But the tracks were there long before the neighborhood still. That didn't stop one particular person from trying to make it everyone else's problem. Her name? Well, let's just call her Karen. Karen lived right near the crossing. Nice house, expensive SUV, and the kind of attitude that made it clear she thought rules were optional, at least for her. I'd heard about her before I ever saw her. Other workers talked about a woman who constantly complained about the trains, said we should change schedules, reduce noise, even suggested the company should reroute entirely. Like that's even possible. At first, it was just complaints. Annoying, but harmless. Then it escalated. A few weeks before the incident, one of our engineers reported that someone had stopped right near the crossing gate, refusing to move even after the signals activated. It caused a delay, but eventually they cleared out. We didn't think much of it at the time. Until that day, I was scheduled for a routine run. Nothing unusual, just a standard route through that same area. Clear weather, good visibility, everything normal. As I approached the crossing, I saw the warning lights activate ahead. That's standard, they trigger well before the train arrives to give people plenty of time to stop. But then I noticed something off. There was a vehicle still on the tracks. At first, I thought maybe they were stuck or trying to move. But no, they were just sitting there, right in the middle of the crossing. I hit the horn immediately. Long, loud blasts. Standard safety procedure. Still no movement. As I got closer, I could see her clearly through the windshield. Looking at her phone, like none of this mattered. That's when it hit me. This wasn't confusion. This was intentional. Now, before anything gets dramatic, let me be clear, we have strict protocols for situations like this. I immediately began slowing the train. Emergency brakes, horn, everything. But trains take time to stop. A lot of time. And she was still not moving. At this point, my focus wasn't anger, it was safety. I needed that crossing cleared. I kept the horn going. Finally, at the last possible moment, she looked up. And instead of panicking, she just slowly moved forward. Not rushed, not scared, just casual. She cleared the track seconds before I reached the crossing. I brought the train to a full stop shortly after, just to make sure everything was safe. But I was already frustrated, because this wasn't just careless, it was dangerous. And it didn't stop there. Over the next couple of weeks, we started getting more reports. Same crossing, same vehicle description, someone deliberately blocking the tracks, waiting until the last second to move, every time causing delays, every time putting people at risk, and every time, no consequences. Until one day, everything lined up. I was scheduled on that route again. Same time, same crossing, and as I approached, I had a feeling. Sure enough, there she was, parked right across the tracks again, this time. Though, things played out a little differently. The signals activated. The barriers started coming down. Cars on both sides stopped like they're supposed to. Except her, she stayed right there, blocking everything. I hit the horn. Nothing. Closer. Now. Still nothing. And here's the part she didn't expect. This time, I wasn't just passing through. We had a scheduled stop not far beyond that crossing due to track maintenance, which meant I had time. Time to stop, time to wait, time to make sure the situation got handled properly. I brought the train to a controlled stop before reaching the crossing, still at a safe distance, but close. Enough. Close enough for her to hear the engine. Feel the presence. Understand that this wasn't a game. I kept the horn going. Now, people around the crossing were starting to react. Other drivers were honking. Some were getting out of their cars, confused, frustrated. And there she was, still sitting there. Until finally, she stepped out of her SUV. And instead of moving it, she started complaining, waving her arms, shouting toward the train like I was the problem. That's when I did something I don't usually do. I stepped out of the locomotive. Now obviously, safety comes first. The train was secure, brakes set, everything controlled. I walked down toward the crossing, and the second she saw me getting closer, her attitude shifted just a bit, but not much. She immediately started talking about how the trains were too frequent, how the crossing was badly designed, how she had been waiting too long. Waiting. She had blocked it herself. I calmly told her she needed to move her vehicle immediately, that she was creating a dangerous situation and holding up not just me, but everyone else. She tried to argue, said I could just wait. That's when I pointed behind me. Dozens of cars backed up, people watching, a full train, sitting on active tracks. And then I said something simple. This isn't optional. Move your car. For a moment, she looked like she was going to keep arguing. But then something clicked. Maybe it was the attention. Maybe it was the realization that this time, she couldn't control the situation. She got back in her SUV and finally moved. The second the tracks were clear, everything started moving again. I went back to the locomotive, continued the route, and reported the entire incident. And this time, there were consequences because with multiple reports, recorded delays, and now a direct incident involving a train stop, the authorities got involved. Turns out, blocking a railway crossing isn't just rude, it's illegal. She was fined heavily. And from what I heard later, she didn't try it again. Not once. Sometimes people think they can push limits because nothing happens the first time, but eventually, reality catches up. And when it does, it hits hard. If you made it this far, I want to know, what would you have done in that situation? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to share this story with someone who'd enjoy it. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you're subscribed to Karen's Stories Daily.